All right, Fashion Dolls, this is the second show of the day. Our next special guest is the actor, director, and model, and he is known for his roles such as Mercy, Dark Echoes, and If I Can't Have Her. I'm super excited to have my next special guest come on, Fashion Dolls. Make sure you guys go and check out my collab with Tina Marie. This is our second collab, and we were dishing on a little bit of the winter fragrances for Bath and Body Works. So you can go and purchase something for someone special in your life, Fashion Dolls. I'm super excited for our next guest coming up. He is an actor. We're going to get into his acting career and so much more. And I'm super excited to have him here, Fashion Dolls. So, while we're waiting on Bjorn to get here, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys also go and head on over and subscribe to our girl Tina Marie. I had a great day today. Today has been a fantastic, fabulous Friday. So let me go ahead and send him a message. Let him know that we are live. And also, you guys, make sure you go and check out my collab. We just got through with Tina Marie. We're waiting on my next special guest to get here. Shout outs to my brother Jay Evans. Now, we're going to be doing a music panel together, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And without further ado, our next special guest should have been nominated, again, like I said when I was on with Tina, as one of people's sexiest men alive. He is an amazing actor. He's incredibly handsome, and he has done so much throughout his career. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Bjorn Backman. You look fabulous. Love the nails. Thank you, artist Melanie Nala Bridgers, for making sure that we are right. Y'all like the eye diamonds? Y'all like the eye gems? Pretty.
Ooh, just hang on. Hello.
Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
How's it going? I was trying to set this thing up here.
I am doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna set this thing up. How does this work? There we go. How's it going?
I'm doing excellent. Such a
Is
pleasure
this good?
to have you here. You can
Maybe
turn
you
it.
should,
You can
yeah, I
turn
should
it
probably
up
turn it. I'm used to having it
in the car.
horizontal mode. There we go. I was putting it up on my tripod here. Maybe that's better.
There we go. We can see you now. All right. So, before we get into this interview, how has 2022 been for you thus far? Because I know we've had some ups and downs with
Yeah.
pandemic and things. So, how has 2022 been for you thus far?
The beginning was extremely rough. I'm not gonna lie. The beginning was rough. I was going through my last semester at UCF, before I got my BFA in acting. So that was a challenge in itself because I was going through a really bad breakup actually at the time as well, which added an additional challenge to the academic aspect of the whole thing. So I was juggling all that while also trying to figure out how to continue to pursue my acting career after graduation, because I had no idea like what to do. Was I gonna like stay here? Was I gonna move back home? Like I didn't really have a game plan, because when I was about to graduate, my student visa was technically like done, so I had to like figure something out. So I was able to get a work permit, and now, long story short, the end of 2022 is looking a lot brighter than the beginning did, you could say. So looking back now, it was rough, but through the summer and up until this point, it has just kept going up. So it's like sometimes you have to like go through the fire in order to come back out as the phoenix on the other side and rise. So I feel like that's what I did, and I'm glad that I came out on the other side, because now I'm blooming and working and getting more gigs than I ever have. So it was all worth it. Yeah.
I detect the accent. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Accent? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just kidding. Yes, there's an accent there. I've been here for 10 years, and I like to think that it was a lot stronger when I first got here 10 years ago. But like sometimes I wish I had like a recording on myself back from 2013 when I first moved here, so that I could hear how much I've lost, as far as the accent is concerned. Because, well, I'm from Norway, to answer your original question, all the way up there by the North Pole. Yeah.
No.
Um, and I moved here when I was 24, and I was supposed to just stay here for 1 year, because I work for Disney. I don't know if you've ever been to Epcot, but at Epcot you have countries represented, and in order to work for the country, you have to be from the country. So that's what I did. That was like my ticket in to this country. So I did that for 1 year, and at that point I was like, you know what? This is nice. I like it here. I think I want to stay here. And at that point, acting wasn't even a thought in my mind. Like this acting modeling thing, this is just something that I had never really thought about. It's always something that I wanted to do, but I never thought that I could do it because I grew up in a small town in like the rural countryside in Norway. Like a beautiful town, beautiful people and everything, but it wasn't the kind of place where it's easy to allow yourself to like blossom, because you're not surrounded by artists necessarily the way that I found myself to be here. So it's when you don't have that environment around you, it's kind of hard to believe that you can do it, So it wasn't until I came here and I was introduced to like the theater community and the acting community that I realized, whoa, people around me, like in my nearby community, are actually doing these things that I thought was so far-fetched originally, thinking about where I was from, and coming here, seeing other people doing it, I was like, well, if they can do it, maybe like I can do it. But it took me, I think 4, 5, 6 years before I eventually built up the courage to go to my first audition, because after I worked for Disney, I started going to Valencia and I got my degree in hospitality management, because I didn't really know what else to do. I just wanted to stay in the country. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to like go study something so I can like stay here. So I thought that's what I was going to do. So I got my degree in hospitality management. But then, the further I got into that and the more movies I kept watching, I was like, every time I watched movies, it kept like growing this thought in my head, like, oh, wow, I'm supposed to do that. I wish I could do that. Like, that's supposed to be me. And every time like I put on the TV, I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to try to do. So from that point, when that thing started growing in my mind, it probably took me another couple of years before I even dared to share the thought with my best friend to say like, hey, I think I want to try out this acting thing, because it sounded so ridiculous in my head because I'd never done anything. I had no experience. And so just saying that to him was a huge step to me, because I was afraid of like the ridicule, it seemed like a pipe dream, but eventually I told him, and long story short, we decided to go to an acting class together. We gave it a shot, and from there it was, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I applied for the program at UCF, the acting program at UCF, and I got in for some reason. I think I've taken classes for like 3 months up to that point, before I got admitted. And then, fast track forward to now, just graduated, and since then have been in several short films, theater productions, feature films, commercials, big and small. And I'm really glad that I took the leap, because it's as scary as it is, and as much rejection as you face.
Yeah.
I'd rather go all in on this and fail than settle on something that I don't want to do.
And you followed your passion. What did mom say when you said, okay, this is what I want to do? Because most moms are very nurturing,
They are.
Yes. They don't want their babies out there. I don't want some mothers are that, like helicopter moms. I know mine specifically, my mom.
Helicopter mom, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, very
No,
protective.
it's true. It is true, and I love my mom to death. She is my favorite person in this world, and I owe her everything and then some. And it was hard because, once I finished my first year with Disney, I didn't really know what I was doing. So she thought that I was going to come back home. So then I still remember that time I had to make that phone call. I was like, hey, I think I want to like stay here and like study. And I remember personally that was uh, it was a hard decision to make. It was something that was really hard to say because I knew that she was excited. She was expecting me to come home, and 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 I didn't really know what my future was going to look like. I didn't even know if I was going to get accepted into college. But I was like, hey, I think I want to start like studying here. And at first, she was like, okay, well, are you sure? Like, is this what you want to do? And blah blah blah. Which I guess is the natural thing because your parents, they want to protect you. They don't want anything bad to
Yeah.
happen to you. They just want you to be safe and all that, which I get, and that's great. But I had to do this for me, and now, long story short, she is, my biggest supporter. She loves that I'm, pursuing what I want to do, and so does my dad and my whole family back there. And it's kind of funny because I feel like I've gotten a lot closer to, especially my dad, now that I'm here and he's there, compared to when we were living there together. Because it's like sometimes it's like when you away from each other, it's like you realize what you don't have. You kind of get like a closer bond, and that's what happened with me and my dad. I feel like because now we talk a lot more often than we did when I was there. So it's bittersweet in a way, but I appreciate how because I haven't been home in 3 years. I haven't seen any family in 3 years, but we still talk on the phone every week, and so we're like closer than ever, yet further apart physically. But I'm glad that I've been able to maintain those relationships while being here and pursuing the dream. Because it is true, as you say, sometimes people can drift apart when your goal is different from what they want for you. Because as I said, they want to see you safe and, not getting hurt or rejected or whatnot. Uh, but this is just something that I had to do for myself, and they are supporting me now. So I'm really happy about that.
Shout outs to actress, writer, and singer Natalie Perry. She says, "Hi, Bjorn. Nice to meet you."
Hi, thanks for tuning in.
Yes, and being away from family difficulty. How did you find that? Because I know it's when a lot of people get in the industry and they're trying to pursue their careers, is being away from family and things like that. How was it for you? And I know you said you haven't been home since 3 years. With your family to speak with them. How was communication? How did you find the balance with being able to communicate with your family and then being able to work on the road and act and follow your passion?
Yeah, well, that's a good question because, first of all, there's a 6 hour time difference, between here and Norway. So or they are 6 hours ahead. So it's kind of hard to, uh, that was hard in the beginning because, sometimes if I was working in the daytime, it was already night by the time that I, wanted to like call or whatever. But now I feel like after having been here for 10 years, I think I found that balance where I can, uh, where we found like certain times. I don't know, we don't have like set times where we talk or call or whatever, but it's like, because they know that I'm 6 hours before and they're 6 hours ahead. So it's like I sometimes just pick up the phone and, if they're available, we'll talk for like 10, 15 minutes or whatnot. It doesn't have to be like, I remember when I first got there was like 2 hour long phone calls, at several times a week because it was so, unique to have this relationship because we've been used to being together all the time. But now as time has gone by and I've been there for so long, it's kind of like we've kind of like adapted to having this long distance relationship. So it's easier now, I feel like, to deal with it than it was. So yeah, because I think they've come to terms now with the fact that I am here and that I want to be here, which I'm grateful for. Because I kind of feel bad that I haven't been home in like 3 years because I haven't really had the chance. Because first it was COVID, and then this and that happened. But my mom, my stepdad, and my brother is coming to visit this Christmas, so I'm really excited about that because that's going to be the first time that I've seen them in yeah, 3 years. So I'm looking forward to that.
And that was going to be my next question for you. The holidays is approaching. Next week is Thanksgiving, and everyone is going to be spending time with their family and things.
Yeah.
With you being on the road with your acting and everything, where you're going to make some time, to drop by and see family, but they're coming to see you. So that's amazing. It all
Yeah,
works.
they're coming during Christmas, and it's I'm looking forward to that, especially because, as you said, like Thanksgiving. I mean, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving where I'm from, but still, knowing that everyone else is celebrating it here, and having been like completely alone, it's just me here. Like for the last 3 years, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatnot. Those times are definitely a little tougher, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, I have my family. I know there's people out there who doesn't even have, I'm really grateful, both my parents are still alive, and I'm
Yeah.
blessed. I'm really lucky, and I definitely don't take that for granted, because I can always pick up the phone and call, and I know there's a lot of people who can't do that. So I'm definitely not complaining. Of course, I do miss them during the holidays and such, but yeah, it can definitely. I've found myself to that I try to distract myself sometimes a little bit more during the holidays, because I do feel, because when you know that other people are with their families, it do tend
Yeah.
to get to you sometimes. Yeah.
Now, get into some of your acting roles because I was reading your catalog and you have a very extensive catalog of work here, sir. So let's get right into it. You've had 22 or more acting roles. Let's go through. And my question for you would be, which character did you resonate with the most out of all the projects I'm going to list? I'm not going to list them all, but just a few.
Okay.
Night of the Insolent Vermin, Seed Money, Panic Attack, Revelation, a $1 friendship, looking out and critical moment, on the rise, and voices of the dead. So, which of these projects, which character did you resonate with the most out of the projects that I just listed?
I think I'm gonna have to say the one that popped into my mind first was the critical moment, definitely, because that's a funny one. That was a short film that we did, that we filmed at the beginning of this year. I think it was in March or April of this year, and I believe I got that role because, well, the director, who I've met a couple of times, he said that, oh, I think you would be a great fit for this role, because it kind of like this is
Mm,
who you are as a person and a character. It was like a outrageous character. He was like really funny, made a lot of inappropriate jokes and this and that. So like, I think this would be a good fit for you. So I read for it, and he was like, yes, this is great. This is what you're gonna do. So I felt that resonated with me the most, because when we shot it, I was just being goofy on the set. I didn't have to get into character. I was just being myself, and it was great. We had a blast, and it was really easy to act in that one, because it was basically just me being me. And they loved it, and the results came out, and it was great. I think I have the. I think it's on YouTube. I can send you the link, and I'll let you know what I'm talking about. I'll let you see it for yourself. It was a short film that it was written for the Orlando Independent Filmmakers Challenge
yeah.
Award ceremony. We have like 3, 4 challenges throughout the year where local filmmakers can submit their work to this festival. Or not, it's not a festival. It's just like a local thing where filmmakers can submit their work, and then there's a award ceremony afterwards where the films get submitted to, and then the best films in each genre wins like a prize. And it's great because it encourages local actors and filmmakers to collaborate and get started. And that's how I got started in the film community here, was through the Orlando Independent Filmmakers Association. So shout out to them, because it's a great place to start. It's very inviting and welcoming, and it lets people who, like me at the time, had no credits, no network, no anything. It gives those people a chance to get started and to build a connection and network with people who are already established in the industry. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
And speaking of people who are already established in the industry, that was my next question for you. If there was any actor you would like to collab with or producer, who would be your dream two? Who would be your perfect two that you would like to collaborate with?
Oh, that's well, are we like aiming high here? Or
Yes.
like shooting for
Whatever
the
your choice.
stars?
Whatever your choice.
Okay. Um, well, I mean, there's so many talented people locally here, obviously, that I still want, or that I have been lucky enough to work with, and there's people who I want to keep working with, like especially in the, as I mentioned, the Orlando independent filmmakers community. There's still people that I want to like do short films and such with. But of course, like, and to do as much of that as I can so that I can get on bigger sets and work with, bigger stars, with people who I look up to. And, some of the first A-listers who come to mind are people who I think I'm going to have to say, go with Denzel. He's probably my number one because his work ethic is just out of this world. And the way he carries himself and the way he treats other people on set is probably the main reason why I like him so much, because he has such a genuine, warm personality, and he brings his everything to every role. And every film that I watch with him, it's mesmerizing the way he puts himself into character. And I always think about that when I watch his movies. I'm like, man, if I could even be like a co-star and just have like one line, like one interaction with this guy, that would be like huge, because he's such an inspiration. And it's like whenever he speaks, it's the way he talks and carries himself. It's just really inspiring as an actor. And I think I can say the same for Matthew McConaughey as well, as someone who really resonates with me. Whenever he speaks, whenever he acts, it's like, oh, I can do that. I wish I could do that. And that's something to I'm not really measuring myself up to those yet, but something to reach towards. You got to have big goals, you got to have big dreams, because, as I say, should aim for the moon, and even if you don't hit it, you'll still land among the stars. So I think that's something that I found really helpful, to have high standards for myself, because even if you aim for something up here, you can hit it down here, and it's still going to be like a good, decent goal. And that's something that I've had to work on, because I've usually had had this thing where I got stuck in my comfort zone, and then I've put my goals low, and then I hit them, and then you reach this plateau, and you never really get to grow. So that's something that I've tried to remind myself of lately, both acting wise and in life.
Yes, and I love that you said that, because that's the next part of the conversation. We're like a quarter. I was just telling my previous guest Tina that we're like a quarter of a few more years left in 2022, now going into 2023. What is something that you're manifesting for the future of 2023?
Ooh, manifesting, yes. That is an excellent question. I think I'm manifesting and working towards definitely booking more film and TV work, because as of recent, I've been booking a lot of commercials lately, which is great, locally. And I always say that I want to do as much work as I can here locally in Orlando before I venture out, kind of like trying to become a big fish in a small pond before going to a bigger market and get eaten up by all the sharks. So I'm trying to build up my package, build up my reel and my experience, so that when I go to a bigger market, it won't become as overwhelming, So I think my manifestations is to submit for more and bigger gigs. And I just got new headshots. I'm waiting for those to come back, because I haven't gotten new headshots in 4 years. So it was time to update those. So I'm waiting for my edits to come back. And then when I get those, my first goal, the first thing on my to-do list is going to be to submit those on all the casting profiles online. Because that's the thing, like in this business, you have to like constantly sell yourself and be on top of things. Because as hard as it was, I feel like I've overcome that. Because in the beginning, my biggest challenge was to learn how to sell myself and get comfortable putting myself out there, like on social media, sending in auditions, because I was dealing with a lot of, like imposter syndrome issues, like, oh, who am I to think that I can do this? Like, I'm not good enough to submit for this. I'm not good enough to be on set with these people. Like, I've only acted for a couple of years. Like, I have an accent. Like, I'm from a small town. Who am I to think that I can, So that was a big thing that I had to just overcome. And I still haven't overcome it. It's still a thing. It's still something that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, like fighting with those inner demons, like telling myself, no, you are good enough. It doesn't matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter that nobody that you grew up with have the same goals as you. It doesn't matter that you've only done this for a couple of years. It's okay to have an accent, and because this business is filled with rejection all the time. And if you can't learn to, use that as a strength and just keep pushing forward, then you're not really going to last very long. And that's why I try to tell myself and manifest, every no brings you one step closer to a yes. So yeah, selling myself, putting myself out there, getting bigger auditions and getting more yeses and less nos. I think that's a big part of my goals for 2023.
And I love what you just said, because I touched on this a few weeks back with one of my guests, which is I have to learn to stop beating myself up. And that reassurance, because there are people out here in this industry, you're gonna get a lot of no's. You
Yeah.
definitely are. You're gonna get a lot of no's. There's gonna be people, but you take that no. And I was watching TED Talks, and the guy who was doing a pitch for, I think, a pharmaceutical company, he said that they told him no, but
Mm,
catch to it. It meant no, not right now. Come back
that's
with another
right.
offer. So you take that no, can't just be like no. It's just a no. You go back, you rebuild, you work yourself up to where you need to be. And I'm critical of it too because I do it to myself. I will go back and watch some of my interviews and I was like, no, this could have been a little bit better. I could have did this a little bit better, a little bit different. But people are like, girl, you did excellence. Why are you beating yourself up? You did awesome. And
Yeah.
I have people who my fraternal Island Yankee, I know he's here, who will tell me like stop overthinking it. You did great, you did awesome. So these are the type of people that you need. And
Yeah.
we're perfectionists. When you're in this business, you are literally like a perfectionist. And the people that you've mentioned, like Matthew McConaughey, Denzel Washington, even my favorite, Beyonce, they're critical about whatever project that they put out. And they want it to be perfect because people will go through and they will find almost any little thing to nitpick and point out and pull out.
Oh
So
yeah.
when we're working on something, we make sure that it comes out perfectly. So I totally can relate to that. That's why I tested and I touched on that.
Yeah, especially when you get to that level, like everybody's watching you, and it's like if you don't have tough enough skin to, deal with all of that. I mean, I'm sure that's why they have a bunch of managers and PR people to deal with all that for them because, it's hard enough as it is right now. I feel like you have people watching and judging you and you have and you're worried about putting yourself out there, you being the actor, having to submit stuff, sharing stuff like, oh, am I getting enough likes on this? Are people like following me? What do
Right.
they think about this submission? Like, did I do a good enough job? Why haven't I gotten a call back for this audition? Like, maybe was there something wrong with my face? Is there something about my accent that they don't like? And you get in your head, and if you don't get out of that, yeah, as I said, you're not going to last very long, in this business. And that's something and that's probably the biggest reason why it took me up to like 4 or 5 years from the moment where I wanted to become an actor to I decided to go to my first audition because I was terrified of going to my first audition because I was so scared of stepping on a stage and getting rejected in a bunch of front of people because I put so much worth on other people's opinion of me. Because I was like, if someone else sees me and they reject me, I take that to heart and I go like, well, that must mean that it's true. That must mean that I suck. That must mean that I'm not good enough. And if I'm not good enough, how can I possibly be good enough for someone else or offer anything to anyone? So that's why I put it off for so long because I believe that everything that they thought about me was truth. And that's something that is a constant work in progress to tell yourself that no, I am good enough, I am loved, I am beautiful, I can do this. And you have to like constantly tell yourself that. Anyone should do that, but especially in this field where there's so many no's, you can't let that become part of who you are. The no's can't become your character because no, you just gotta learn to push through and constantly, give yourself that mental exercise to remind yourself that no matter how many no's you get, you are still worthy. That's my opinion.
I agree 100%. It's all about building up your self confidence and reassurance that you're going to get through. And my question for you is, what advice would you give? Olga says, congrats for your interview.
Thank you, Olga. I appreciate all your support. Mwah.
Yes, you've got a lot of support. That is people coming in to support you. So how does that feel for you as an actor to know that you have people that are looking up to you, that are supporting you and backing you 100%?
It feels great. I'm not gonna lie. It means a lot, and it makes me well, not only grateful, but I think more importantly, it keeps me accountable. I think that is the best way to describe it, because it's one of my favorite quotes, like, if you're not, it's kind of like, your lack of commitment is a insult to the people who believe in you. That's a quote that I really like, because when you have so many people who believe that you can do it, then I feel like, okay, well, then it's my responsibility to live up to that. Like, I have all these people telling me that I can do it, you're great, this and that, and I'm like, wow, I have all these people who think that. Then, I mean, the least I can do is like do my best and work hard and like prove them right, because if I have people who look up to me, that creates this accountability, I feel like, where I need to, I mean, obviously I should do it for myself first and foremost, but having that support of people behind you, I think, is something that is really important, especially for me, and especially in this business where it's hard enough as it is. It's nice to sometimes be reminded by the people you love that, okay, you do believe that I can do this. Oh, well, that's really nice to hear. Then maybe you're right. Maybe I'll give it another shot. And so I can't, be grateful enough for the people who do believe in me and do think that I can do this, because sometimes it's rough. You're away from your family. You're like on a different continent. You dealing with not only acting issues, but there's sometimes immigration issues. There's all these different types of issues that comes and goes, and you have to deal with that. And I try to remind myself when things get tough. I try to look back and be like, think of the things that I overcame when things are hard, and I go, okay, well, if I overcame that, I can overcome this next thing. And I think that's what keeps me going and pushing in this industry and in this country.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to what you said in the beginning of the interview, which is that solid support circle. You've mentioned your mom, you credited your mom and dad, and of course your supporters as well too. That's important, having a solid support circle around you. And it doesn't have to be a very big circle. Like I know for me, I said my circle is very, very small and close knit, and I know those people who are there to hold me accountable. And I know my mom is always going to be there, as well as my grandmother and so many others in my family who I am thankful for it, backing 100%. All right, Fashion Dolls, it is time for our games here with Bjorn. And the first one is called the Rapid Five. Now, in this game, Bjorn has to tell me 5 things that he can't live without. And it can
Okay.
be his favorite football team, it can be his favorite drink, it can be whatever, workout, whatever he wants to do, his top 5 favorite things. And then the next one is going to be called Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests, for my newest viewers who are watching, you get to know a little bit about me, Miss Stevie, the hostess, the woman, the diva, all of that is so much more that you guys call me.
I
So
love it.
you get to know a little bit about me through that one, and it's called Turn the Tables. But we're going to start off with the Rapid Five. What are 5 things that Bjorn can't live without?
Okay, now when you say things, we're talking about physical things, or going to talk like family members, or is it not people, it's
Yes,
things?
whatever you want to. It can be family, drink, whatever.
Okay, well, I'm definitely, the first thing that comes to mind is, my dream, my passion, obviously the acting, because I believe that if I can't pursue what I love, nothing else matters. Because, if you can't be happy, then, what's the point? So, my dream, the acting, number one. Second, I'm going to go with fitness, the gym. And I know I
Mm,
probably sound like some like dumb gym rat when I say that, but what I mean by that is, like, for me, going to the gym is 90% mental and 10% physical. Like, I need it. Like, it's
therapeutic.
deeper than therapy. It's therapy. Yeah. It's where I anchor myself. I get everything out, and it's
Mhm.
where my mind gets quiet and I can just, let it all out. So I need to go to the gym to function. So I'm going to say the gym as my second. And third, kind of similar, nature, being outside, just connecting with the earth. And I know it probably sounds a little hippie, but it's true. It's being out there, taking it all in, and being grateful. you know Gratitude, I think, is a big one. Just waking up every morning and taking everything in, and just realize how lucky you are to wake up and take a couple of minutes every day to just realize, how privileged and lucky we are to be where we are, to live here, to stay here, to work here, and yeah. So I think gratitude is a big one. What are we at? Three. Um, let's see. What's my fourth one? Probably my friendships, my connections, the people around me who supports me. Family goes under that umbrella, I guess. Having that support network, as I mentioned earlier. Because again, as I said, I'm doing this mostly for me, but it's also nice to have people around you who backs you up and to show off your results, to be like, well, it paid off. I appreciate that you support me now. I'm going to do this thing because I have your support, and then live up to that. It's a pretty big one. Last, oh man, I don't know. Music, I think. Yeah, music is something that has gotten me through some of my biggest hardships in life, from I was very young to this very age. Whenever I felt like lonely, abandoned, sad, depressed, music was always there and has gotten me through some very tough times. So I believe that's my top five.
All right, Fashion Dolls, that is his top five. And I love where you kept it into being centered. You've mentioned fitness and staying fit, working out, therapeutic. And we've all been pent up in the house for so long. So a lot of us need to find that outlet, that niche. And some people
Yes.
decided to work out, some people decided to write. Nature is a good way. Go outside, just explore and get in tune with yourself. So I'm all about
Mm-hmm.
being absolutely.
100%.
All right, Fashion Dolls, it is
All
time to
right, your turn.
peoples. So this is where my guests get to ask me as many questions as they want. So I'm going to pass it on down to Bjorn here, and he's going to ask me as many questions as he wants. Take it away.
All right, thank you. Ooh, where to begin? What inspired you to start doing these interviews? That's my first question. And when did you start? And how's the journey going?
I started right after high school. Like I just went randomly because I had a dream of originally doing hair, and I've completed that dream. I went to beauty school and I got my license, and afterwards, our parents always ask us, everybody's parents have that conversation with them, like, are you going to college? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? So I said, I want to be a talk show host. But I
Hmm.
knew it at a very, very young age. Like I would always line the hair boxes up and I would grab my little imaginary microphone, like the pill crusher, and I would I said, I'm going to be one of the girls on those boxes or
Yeah.
either I'm going to be hosting a talk show. So I manifested it at a young age that I was going to be something of the sort with public speaking. Fast forward in high school, I took public speaking class. So it started off originally with me giving away beauty tips and stuff. And I said, why not add some spice to it? Why not add guest interviews and interview people on what their journeys are in producing projects and movies and music and so much more. So that's kind of how Style by Stevie was formed. And to see where the journey is 334 episodes later, because
Oh
I've
wow.
done so many interviews and I can't keep counting them all. Like it's more and more and more to come. I said, I got to keep going. I got to
Yeah.
keep going. So I started in 2017, 2016, and here we are in 2022. So yeah.
Thank you. Now, are you interviewing only what how do you decide who you're going to interview? Is it based on people in the entertainment industry, or do you like venture out? Like how do you decide who you want to interview?
I mix and match because the biggest thing people think all I interview is famous people, and I'm like, no, everybody who has a passion for whether it's acting or directing or music deserves their voice to be heard. And that's why I created my platform because someone gave me a chance, and I said everybody else deserves to have a chance, famous, whoever. And that's been the thing. People think, oh my gosh, she's so up there. She interviews a celebrity. I'm just like, no, there are talented actors like you've mentioned, the Florida Coalition for Actors and
Yeah, the
Creators
Orlando independent filmmakers. Yes.
in Orlando. So that's what I want to do. I want to give everybody a chance to shine. Everybody's a star in my eyes. Actors, directors, like I've mentioned Natalie, who was just in here. She's a singer, songwriter, and actress, and is producing
Hmm.
her and has a project I think coming out in 2023 in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. So it's all about networking and finding connections with people. And throughout my interviews, the person that I've interviewed would connect me with this person, and they would connect me with this person. And it's just like a
Yes.
circle. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel the same way with my acting. You go to network with somebody, and that leads to one thing, and that leads to the next thing, and
Yeah,
that's how you do it. Now, is it only, are you using Instagram mainly as your platform, or are you planning to do you have a big goal on having like a studio one day that you're going to do the interviews in, or like, do you have a long-term plan, or?
I do. I would love to have Style by Stevie on television, like a
Yeah.
uh who's a talk show host, like a Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer has her talk show, or Sherry Shepherd. I would love to have my platform like that with a studio and expand. But
Hmm.
you know what God brings in the future, because it's written in the stars. I believe in manifestation also, and I believe that what you put out there in the universe, you will get back in return full circle. So if you
100%,
put
yeah.
it out there and manifest, and I'm also one to do vision boards. So everything that I did back on my vision board in 2021, I'm looking at it across the room now, and I'm just like, wow, almost everything on that vision board has come into circle. It's literally like putting in the puzzle pieces together. So who
Yeah.
knows what the future may bring? Yeah.
That's interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I've been planning how does that work? I've been thinking about that too. Like I haven't done it yet. I mean, I have my calendar up on the wall, but that's not really the same thing. I mean, like, does it work? Like, do you look at it every day and get inspired by it? And I mean, obviously, you have to put in the work as well. But it's like, do you put like what do you put on it? Do you put like big future goals on it, or do you put like small goals on it? And how do you reach them?
Yes, and I
Just
also
based on
put
having them up on the wall, like how does that help?
at least a quote or a word of encouragement on there as well too, because I'm one
Hmm.
about positivity. If you guys follow me here on the gram, I'm always posting a word of encouragement or two to people. And then my good morning post that I do every day on Facebook, is always a word of encouragement to people to get them going through the day while they're out at work. You never know what a person could be going through. So I put words on my vision board like imagine, believe, spellbound is one of them. I'm always dreaming, and I like to say this: I dream in color, and I also dream in drama, and I live life through drama. Not like, oh, she's such a like the Beverly Hills Housewives, for example. No,
Right.
not that kind of drama, but but
That's
the
funny.
kind of drama where it's like, okay, be bold in your approach, whether it's business, whether it's a acting role, or whatever it is that you're going for. Be bold in your approach, and that's what
Yeah.
I tell people: live big, dream big, go big for whatever it is that you are following or prospering. If you want to be a doctor or an actress or a talk show host, you go for that. You follow your
Hmm.
passion, or live life by fire. Jay Evans, shout outs to Jay Evans. Jay Evans does commentary and coverage on
Yeah, he can relate. He can relate.
and yes, things like that. So you guys know what I mean by drama. I took the word drama and remixed it and said, okay, let's add drama with fashion. Be over the
I
top.
like
And
it.
you guys know I love over the top fashion. I
Yeah,
love, just I have a bright personality. And
exactly.
that's what you guys portray to the world. So when I say live life through drama, I mean go for your passions. Go for whatever it
100%.
is that you have a purpose to do. And I know my calling because my mom and my grandmother said this, baby, you have a calling on you. So whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to be a talk show host, you go for it. You
That's
train
right.
yourself, you educate yourself, and you do the work. So yeah.
100%. I love that. Yeah, and I feel like it's art form, like any art form, like it's all about expressing yourself, be it like dancing, acting, talk show, whatever. It's all about expressing who you are as a person and sharing that gift that you have been given with the world. Because I feel like that's what it's really all about. Like when you have been giving something, it's your responsibility to share it, and make the world a better place. And then you can inspire others because, when you let your light shine on others, it gives them an opportunity to do the same thing. So I feel that is really important, and that's what motivates me to see that. Oh, to have people come up to me and say like, "How did you do it? Like, how did you get started?" And I'm like, "What?" I feel like I just got started. I don't know what I'm doing, and then to have people come up to me and be like, "How do I get started in acting?" That's probably the biggest drive for me when I have that happen. It's like I get some goosebumps just like saying it because it's like I feel like I just got started and I feel like I don't know anything. And then you see people getting inspired by your content and they hit you up and say, I'm so inspired by what you're doing. How can I do this thing? And then I feel like it's my responsibility when you make it to the top to reach, not that I'm not anywhere near the top yet, but you have to reach down and help people up. And I think that's a big part of it. And I'm sure it's the same for you in your situation, like where you are, because you've been talking to a lot of people and helping people up to where they are doing these interviews and stuff. So I'm sure you can relate.
And shout outs to actor Tony Jones. I told him the same thing when we first met because we conversated before the interview. Tony knows. And I told him, I said, stop beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Stop being so unsure of yourself. If you want to do this. Because he was like, no, I'm not really sure. I said, if this is something that you want to do, you go for it. You follow this. And
Yeah.
acting, so far, he's been getting role after role after role after role after role. And he was just unsure. And I said, see, then he messaged me one day and he was just like, well, look, he sent me the flyer. And I'm like, wait, it says Tony Jones. And I see his name on the flyer and everything for the movie promo. And I said, you see the power of manifestation? Whatever
Yeah.
you put out there, whatever you've envisioned is coming into fruition. If you say, I'm going for a movie role and I'm going to get that movie role and you've got it, you put it out there, you've already claimed it.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
like, I can't be anybody's good luck charm, but I know if I believe it, it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. You have to do that before anything. And if you don't believe in yourself, then why should anyone else? You know, of course, you also have to put in the work, but I mean, it has to start with that core belief, I believe, in yourself that is so unshakable that even when things go south, you still keep pushing forwards, you know, and you don't let anything move you off that path, which I think is a big reason why so many, especially actors, fall off that path because they can't handle the no's. They can only handle so many rejections before that, okay, you know what? I can't do this. I'm going to stop. And I've been close to doing it myself, but it's like you just got to remind yourself that this is what you were put here to do and not let anything shake you off that. And just, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Michael Jordan, he missed, you know, like 10,000 times, but that's why he's the best because the failures is what makes you a success, you know? So people don't remember the failures. They'll remember the successes. And I'm sure that's how it is with you as well.
Oh yeah, you're gonna fall a couple times. You're gonna fall. You're gonna find yourself doubting yourself, but you find that passion and that drive, and you keep going. Find a positive word. Like me, I love quotes. I love inspirational quotes. And my mom, she gave me this book of quotes to live by on life or life's quotes, life's lessons, or sort of
Yeah.
like chicken noodle soup for the soul. But she
Yeah,
gave
I've
me
heard
this
about that
tiny
one.
little book of quotes, and I would flip through, and it's always something encouraging.
Hmm.
And look at my vision board as well too. I find a quote, or I will scroll on my phone when I get up first thing in the morning, and I will find just an encouraging word. So find something that motivates you to keep you going and pursuing whatever it is your heart's desires. And I like to
100%.
say, live life through fire. Go through it. It's adventure. Live
Yeah,
life through fire.
you have to. You have to. And don't let anything extinguish that fire.
Absolutely. Never let
Yeah.
anyone dim your light. You guys know the Columbia picture. They did it. They're always doing something funny on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
This
with
young
the
woman, yes, and she took it was like Star Wars or something. Like she
oh
took
yeah, when the
the
guys walk up
torch.
there and she hits them with the torch.
Yes,
Yeah, I've seen that.
yes. I
Don't let
reposted that. That's the type of energy that we need to have in a position. It says never let anyone dim your light. So
100% preach.
definitely sparkle.
Yeah, sparkle. That's right. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think that's all the questions that I had.
All right, fashion dolls, that concludes our turn the table segment. Do we have any questions for myself or Bjorn, ladies and gentlemen? Because this was such an incredible conversation. Both shows today have been awesome. I enjoyed my one-on-one with Tina and my one-on-one with you also as well too. This was a great conversation, and I hope you all took something from this because it's during the holidays and it can be depressing for a lot of people. But one thing I want people to take away from this is joy, be happy, and live life because you only get one. You only get one, and whatever it is that your heart's desires is, go for it.
That's right, because it could end tomorrow, man. You never know.
In an instant, in this daytime,
In
you
an
never.
instant. See, I got a question here from Jay Evans. I'm going to answer that real quick. That is an excellent question. What director would I like to work with? Well, I'm going to aim high once again, aim for the stars, and I'm going to say it's probably my favorite director and the most visionary director. Well, actually, it's a tie between Tarantino and Chris Nolan because I am a huge fan of both all those guys as movies. I would love to be in any Tarantino production, any Nolan movie. Just because, well, Tarantino, like his way of storytelling just blows my mind, and I could watch his movies, 10 times a day. And Nolan, it's like, I know his movies, you got to watch them like 10 times to like understand half of it. So that those just to be like part of any of their production would be huge. So that's like maybe I should put that on my vision board. And who would I play if I ever did a biopic? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Like a biopic, that's like playing someone in real life, right? Isn't that
Yes,
what that is?
like Chadwick did 42, and he did James Brown. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. So yeah,
That is an excellent question. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because first of all, they would have to have like a worthy story to tell, I assume. And I would probably have to look like the person. I don't know if we're taking that into consideration. Some people, I don't know. I've been told that I don't know. I don't see it, but some people tell me that I look like Ryan Reynolds. I can't see it, but that's what I've been told. So maybe I'd start a biopic about him one day. Who knows?
I could see that.
Or
Never
maybe
know.
I make it even bigger than him, and he'll star in a biopic about me. How about that? There
Yes,
you go. That's
that could
aiming
have
high.
started. Yes, I was gonna ask you who would you get to play in the bio on your life, and our girl Kay says you do kind of resemble. There is a strong resemblance.
Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what it meant. Yes. Well, that is a good. Well, I think I'm gonna pick the same guy. I'm just gonna say Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, because he's out there stealing all my roles right now. So we gotta do something about that.
Oh my goodness. And yes, we're in the age of bios. Everybody's playing somebody. So
That is true.
superhero
Yeah.
wise, because you're very athletic. What type of superhero? And we're also in the Marvelverse. So what
We are.
superhero could you see yourself playing in the, if you were asked to play a superhero in the future?
Well, it'd probably have to be something that. I mean, obviously, my favorite Marvel superhero is Thor because I have to represent the Vikings. All that Norse mythology. So I have to go with him. Although I don't really have the trademarks of a real Norwegian because I don't have the blonde hair, I don't have the blue eyes, so it's I don't really live up to the whole Viking Norse image, but still that's where I'm from, so it would have to be some kind of Viking, like some kind of I think I'd create like a new superhero, like some new kind of Viking superhero with I guess similar powers but not the same. I would just stand out somehow. Yeah, I'll have to get back to that one. I'll have to put it on my vision board. Maybe I'll have to, submit something tomorrow and be like, "Hey, what do you guys think? I have an accent. I'm the real deal. Sign me." Just like that.
And Jay Evans says that's a good one too. He says he thinks you could play the late Robin Williams.
Oh
Ooh,
wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, I'm told that I'm funny occasionally, but that's a big one to live up to. He's one of the greats.
yes. Rest
I
his
don't even know. Are
soul.
they are they doing a biopic on him? They probably will do at some point because he has left quite a mark on the world.
Especially in comedy. Like he was
Especially,
doing
yeah.
his timing was just everything. He was so immaculate with it.
Yeah. And it's like it's funny to see, it's often mentioned you know, how success doesn't necessarily determine happiness. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the success in the world, but happiness I think comes from somewhere deeper because obviously he wasn't happy at the end and I feel like, that's what we need to talk more about mental health, first of all, of course, and then to
Absolutely.
what is happiness? Like, why do we assume that having a lot of money or being famous is the same as being happy? Because obviously it's not in a lot of cases. So there's probably needs to be more of an ongoing conversation about that because it's really unfortunate.
Not yet, but I think you could pull it off, Bjorn. That's what Jay
I'll
Evans
take
said.
it. I'll take it. Appreciate the support, Jay.
Yes, and make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Jay Evans on YouTube. Me, him, and K Tooks are doing a music panel for Christmas holiday classic albums. So make sure you guys tune in for that. That will be next month. And it's already posted and pinned here on my IG. So are there any questions for myself and Bhorn? This was such a great interview. You gotta
No,
mention your black belt. Martin says, talk about the black belt.
the black belt.
Yes.
Oh, I guess like they've probably seen on my profile. My black belt, yeah, I do have a black belt in Taekwondo, so I can like kick things and stuff, which has also come in handy as far as my acting career. I did Taekwondo for 12 years back in Norway, and then I moved here, and I've done a couple of photo shoots. I try to keep up with it at the gym now. I don't take classes or anything anymore, but once a black belt, always a black belt. So that is something that has come in handy. Whenever there's I mean, I don't have any formal stunt training, but having martial arts training can become very useful on a film set, and it has, and I'm sure it will, which is why I'm now trying to keep up with it with my practice from back in Norway. Because it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you get back into it, you kind of like have it in your body, and then if there's a role that calls for it, for an audition or whatever, like you gotta know how to kick, you gotta know how to throw like a believable punch. Then if you combine that with some actual stunt training, where because it's all about big movements, you gotta like fake it and all of that. But if you have like legitimate training, that can also aid in making it look believable on the screen. So that is something that I also have in my acting arsenal, obviously on my resume and such. So yeah, that is something that I try to keep up with so that it can help me in my career, because you get to use what you got, because it's really competitive out there. So whatever you can bring to the table that is unique to you, such as in my case, the martial arts training, the accent, which I'm trying to use as a strength and not let it hinder me, things like that. You just got to use what's uniquely you, because there's way too many people out there who try to blend in. And I'm like, I'm going to be like this person. I'm going to be like this actor. They're going to think that I'm as good as it. No, like, casting directors see the same stuff 100 times a day. So if you stand out in any way, and sounds like such a cliche, oh, just like be yourself. But I think it's true, because if you're yourself, if you bring something unique and different to the table, people are going to notice you. So I think there's something to be said about that.
And more importantly, originality. And Jay Evans also says you can definitely do a Tarantino movie with a black belt.
Hell yeah, that's right. That is correct. Maybe the next Kill Bill movie.
Oh, who knows?
There you go.
Again, manifestation in the future.
Manifesting. There we go. Yeah,
All
well,
right.
thank you again. I appreciate you having me on. This has been great. I appreciate the opportunity. I'd be willing to come back on anytime.
Yes, I definitely would love to have you back on in the future, and let everyone know where they can follow you and check out your projects and so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Right here. My name is probably on the screen or something, so just click my name, whatever, and it brings you to my profile, where I think I have, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I am on Instagram, and I have like links to my Actors Access, my resume, my Facebook. I should probably put my IMDb up there soon as well. So yeah, always constantly marketing myself. So there's so many ways to do it now with technology, so it's great. Yeah.
All right, fashion dolls, ladies and gentlemen, Bjorn Backman. Make sure you guys please go and follow and support him. And I would love to have you back on again in the future. I had a great time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday, Jamari M. Taylor joins me. We have a great lineup for you guys next week. The legendary Peter Onorati from the Goodfellas is going to be here with me, and This Is Us. And SWAT, he's going to be here with me next week. So make sure you guys tune in next week. We have a great show lined up. I love you all, and you guys, please be safe. Have a blessed Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And make sure you guys are staying safe out here with your families and so much more. We love you, and thank you all for tuning in. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
You too.